Good morning and thanks for joining us for KBOI 2 News Midday. I'm Rick Douglas. Now to your top 11 stories at 11. A frantic scene this morning northwest of Los Angeles after 5 cars of a commuter train derail and 3 tumble onto their sides. Police in Oxnard say 28 people were injured, 4 of them critically. Witnesses say the derailment happened after the train hit a tractor trailer at a crossing. It then caught fire. About a dozen ambulances were seen taking the injured to local hospitals. Investigators say the truck driver survived, and they're questioning him about why his big rig was on the crossing. Well, we know it wasn't a bird, it wasn't a plane, so what was that light streaking across the sky last night? This is some great video of the event taken near Missoula, Montana. Some reports say it was a meteor, others space junk. The light was visible across a huge area from Salt Lake City to Calgary, Alberta. Some who saw it say it lasted over a minute. Did you get a great photo of the meteor? Would like to see it? Just send it in to news@kby2.com. Pot smokers have a new place to put their bucket lists, Alaska. As of today, you can now smoke pot legally in Alaska. Voters approved the move to join Colorado and Washington in legalizing pot. There are limits to the law. You have to be 21 to buy, and you can't have more than an ounce on you. You can, however, harvest up to 4 ounces in your home. On the legislative watch, Idaho lawmakers are considering moving up the date for a presidential primary. It's a plan that could cost taxpayers up to $2 million. But lawmakers say with that cost would come more pull for the state when it comes to deciding which candidates will get the party's nomination. Right now, our primary doesn't matter much. It's late in the primary season, May, and most of the time, candidates already have been chosen.
We are hopeful that by moving it to what might be considered a Super Tuesday in March, that it would indeed make Idaho a better player in the process of nominating the president.
That Super Tuesday would be the second Tuesday in March. It's important to note primary elections for all other state and federal offices would remain in May. State lawmakers have finally agreed on a short-term solution to keep broadband internet flowing into schools. An emergency bill is on its way to the governor's desk. It allocates $3.6 million for Idaho school districts. Under the plan, the districts cut their own deals for the rest of the school year and then are reimbursed by the state. This measure temporarily replaces the Idaho Education Network after a district judge voided a $60 million broadband contract. During a debate yesterday on a chemical abortion bill at the state capitol, a seemingly strange question. Representative Vito Barbieri asked Dr. Julie Madsen, who was testifying against the bill, if a camera could be swallowed to examine female organs by a doctor miles away, as is done for a colonoscopy.
Can this same procedure then be done in a pregnancy, swallowing a camera and helping the doctor determine what the situation is with the
Mr. Chairman and Representative, it cannot be done in pregnancy simply because when you swallow a pill, it would not end up in the vagina.
Fascinating. That certainly makes sense, doctor.
Almost immediately, social media blew up with comments mocking Barbieri. He later attempted to walk back the controversy in a radio interview. Barbieri said his question was rhetorical. In Washington, D.C. this morning, it looks like the Republicans blinked first. Republicans and Democrats had been at odds over a bill that's designed to keep the Department of Homeland Security up and running. Republicans wanted to attach a rider that would derail the president's immigration plan. But this morning, they switched gears, saying that they're pushing for a standalone bill on immigration. We'll have more in just a moment. The Idaho Statesman reports this morning that an impasse over parking sensors might finally be resolved. Since June 2013, the Ada County Highway District and the City of Boise have been at odds over a plan to replace downtown parking meters with so-called smart ones. ACHD balked when Boise began installing sensors in the pavement without permission. But with 2 new commissioners on board, the paper says an agreement looks likely at tomorrow night's ACHD meeting. The Boise City Council will consider an ordinance that would allow them to sell bonds to support the fire department. The proposal calls for the sale of $17 million in bonds. If approved, the money would go toward building and refurbishing fire stations, as well as other operational needs. And while we're on the subject of firefighters, today is the 6th annual Tip a Firefighter event at the Piper Pub and Grill in downtown Boise. Firefighters will be waiting tables, and 100% of the tips they earn will go to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. The Piper Pub will also donate a percentage of today's sales to the cause. And if you're a beer drinker, 100% of sales of beer from Payette Brewing, Boise Brewing, and a few others also will be donated. Roads across the southern half of the country are virtually encased in ice this morning. A big rig skidded off a highway in Dallas and was left dangling from an overpass for hours. The conditions pose a challenge for many in the region because so many are unaccustomed to driving on icy roads. At Dallas-Fort Worth Airport Monday night, an American Airlines jet making its way to a terminal couldn't handle the ice on the taxiway. You can see it right there. It ended up in the grass.